How about now? Any audio? How about now? We're trying to get this microphone to work. Is this working now? Yes, okay. So I've got quite a weird situation over here with the microphone and the webcams. I was trying to set up a side webcam view, and I'm trying to run it through a USB hub, but it's not working. Which I killed my camera, it looks like, because now my secondary camera is out. So I have 2 other cameras that I added to the stream. Haven't really tested this yet, and I thought I had it working, but it doesn't want to run the audio and the video through a hub, which I thought would work. So just give me a second here. I'll try to get this camera up and running. There it is. It's a camera. So we'll scratch that. I'm going to have to buy another set of 25-foot USB cables to resolve this. These cameras are very sensitive, and same with these mics. They don't like to share traffic, and when you do, I assume it's just too much traffic for the USB. So anyway, sorry about that. Great entry. Agent Smith, hey, what's up? Area X. X is who we're building for today. Area X over on Twitch. So if you're on the Twitch channel, you can drop or say hi to Area X Studios, who is the person that we're building for today. So he's here watching the stream. I'm glad he could join us. Mern. Hey, what's up, my favorite partner? Hey. Also, if you're talking, nothing's coming through. Rip. Yeah, I know, man. Hey, Matt, what's up? How's it going? So stoked. Yes, sir. So I'm going to run through some of the parts here on the build, which we have a pretty beastly build going on today. I guess we'll start off with the CPU here. We are working with our 12th generation Intel i9 12900K, packaged beautifully in this Intel i9 packaging. That is going to be plugged into our massive motherboard, which is the MSI MEG 690 Ace. So if you're familiar with the MSI lineup, this is pretty much second to the best motherboard that you can buy through MSI. The next up is Godlike, and honestly, Godlike is a little overkill. It's like a $1,200 board right now, or somewhere in that area. There is a message delay, possibly right now. Yeah, my stream's probably struggling like heck. Not gonna lie. And I'm also taking the time to read them. Hell yeah, Area X Studios. Looks like it's going to be a badass PC. That is right, sir. Agent Smith, this is going to be a badass computer. We just gotta build it. There's a delay. Yep. Okay. So Trident Z is what we're going with. And we are sticking with 2 sticks to allow X, or Area X, to expand his RAM if he wants to later on. So we have 2 sticks in there. This is going to be, I believe we went with 64 gigs, so 2 32 gig sticks here. Yep, 32 gigs at 5600 megahertz. Now, just a side note for anybody that's going DDR5 right now, right off the gate, with especially so far the Z690s, and I believe it's the same issue with the AMD AM5 platform. If you go with 4 sticks of RAM, you're going to run into problems. So I've just noticed, at least, and there's actually a lot of videos out there talking about these problems with DDR5, but the problem mostly is with the fact that the hardware just doesn't support the speeds yet. That's really the problem. So this rig actually behind me, right here, right there, this guy right here, is DDR5. It's another build that I had built for a customer of mine over in Muskegon, Michigan. He is currently, I spent the whole evening playing around with the DDR5 on that system right here behind me. So DDR5, if you have 4 sticks, here's the problem. It won't run the speeds that it's rated at, even if you set the XMP. So the workaround really is to just tune it to the fastest speed that you can get it to, and then make sure it's stable by running some tools like memtest or some memory benchmarking tools, just to verify that it's going to stay stable for you and not blue screen on you later down the road. So that's really the workaround. It's time consuming, but it's just the BIOS or the motherboard and the fact that your memory controller is on the CPU. It's just the 3 new components. Anytime you're going into the new stuff doesn't work. And so I would never trust you to build my PC, Ben. Preston, why wouldn't you trust me to build your PC, man? I think you build your own. That's why, right? Anyway, Preston's a friend of mine, I know. But so DDR5, that's the big problem right now. So if you're building your own, try to go with 2 sticks, because you will less likely see the problem with 2 sticks of RAM. So that is one of the other reasons that we went with 2 sticks. Just a side note for Area X, I kind of pushed you for 2 sticks for the expandability and also for the to avoid this issue, so you can get the most performance out of this RAM. Next, we are building with the 980 Pro Samsung 2TB PCIe 4. So this is Gen 4, beautiful 7,000 megabits per second. And since Area X Studios is mostly using this in his studio for music production, we obviously wanted something that was quick and snappy and had a lot of storage that he could store his work-ons while he's working on it, as well as having a fast boot time and fast launch time for his apps and whatnot. He's also going to be gaming on it, so which is why we have the Supreme X RTX 3090 Ti. Now there is a story behind this bad boy because we had a little bit of difficulties getting a 3090 Ti here over the last week. We originally purchased a 3090 Ti, ordered it, and then we were told like 3 days later, oh, by the way, this isn't in stock anymore. And then the prices on these things jumped. So we ended up just going with the Supreme X at that point because it was pretty close to the same price. And I think Area X, I think you're going to be super happy with this card. It's going to really perform for you. So I'm glad we went this route, even with all the trouble. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Motherboard will keep here because we're going to be starting with that here. Same with the CPU, RAM, and SSD. The cooler. So Area X, I know we originally went with a MSI cooler with the screen, but after I was ordering all the parts, it didn't make sense to have all Corsair fans and then an MSI cooler. What that meant for you was more difficulty trying to manage the RGB. So I'm very happy with the card, yes. But yes, with the Corsair cooler, you can now manage the cooler and the RGB all through the same app a lot easier. So this is why I went this route. It's pretty much the same screen that we were looking at originally on the MSI cooler, and it was the same cost. It just made more sense to stick with Corsair for the aesthetics and also the simplicity of managing it. And that's going to be through the iCUE software. Though I know most people here know I am not the biggest Corsair fan. I just try to make it easy. So on top of that, we're powering this entire system with the EVGA 1300 watt platinum power supply. So this is 80 plus platinum. The reason why we went with this is obviously with the Intel i9 and the 3090 Ti, both being power hungry beasts. We also wanted to make sure that Area X had some wiggle room for upgrades in the future as well. Knowing that the 4000 series is coming out soon and the Intel 13th gen is coming out, they're more than likely going to be using a little more power. So if you ever wanted to upgrade both of those components, he would be able to, and then he would have the power supply already in place without having to go through the process of replacing that or upgrading that. So that really helps him a lot. I'd say the system probably is going to max out or tap out around 1000 watts on a full load, maybe. And then, you know, then you also have to account for all the additional RGB that you're running in this case, which is quite a bit of RGB here. We got a total of 9 QL fans. QL has the double rings, one on the outside and inside. So both, doesn't matter which way the fan's facing, you have the ring, and we did that for the aesthetics of the build. And there's a total of 10 of them. 3 packs and 1 single. Single's going to be on the rear. And we are going to use the 3 fans, at least on the inside of the case, and then the 3 fans that came with the cooler are going to be on top of the radiator, so it's going to be in a push-pull configuration. So that is how we are cooling this thing and powering. And then last but not least, we did go with the Lian Li Strimmers. I was trying to buy the pack. So, normally you can get a pack where the 24 pin and the 888 pin will both be in a single pack. But I've been finding these are becoming more and more difficult to get. And I was able to locate them just singles. So that's the route I had to go for these, which is fine. And then I've got some USB hubs for all that Corsair. If you've ever done any type of Corsair builds before, you'll find out that you run out of USB 2.0 internal ports really quick. So the solution is just grab an internal USB hub. And one that has external power, because if you try to power it all off the board, it's just going to burn that USB hub out pretty quick. Okay, lots of Preston says JK. I don't know that much. Those memory issues I heard of, but don't know that much. Yeah, it's really just, honestly, it's just support, hardware support and BIOS support. That's the big problem right now. Even though the 690s and the 12th gen has been out for like eight months or something like that now. It's been out for a while. They still don't have a solution to the problem yet for the DDR5 RAM plague, is what I call it. And it honestly happened when DDR4 came out. There was a lot of compatibility issues with AMD processors versus Intel processors, and then there was AMD XMP, and then there was Intel XMP, and it just created a whole bunch of confusion when that originally went out. So, but overall, I mean, yeah, the DDR5 has been a problem. Area X, same, very happy with the card. Cool, good choice. Thanks, man. Agent Smith, 169, I played FBI for 0 bits. Oh, nice. You played I didn't catch that, sorry. Don't have my headset on. I actually plan to get a wireless headset so I can hear things on the stream. Because right now, if I have my speakers playing over there, it'll get picked up in the mic. 4 Series is insanely power hungry. Yes. Good choice to go overboard. Yeah, I did definitely go overboard on that power supply to suffice any upgrades in the future. So, knowing that the 4090, as an example, is supposed to draw on a load up to like 500 watts, which is insane. That is a lot of power for a graphics card. So if you take into account that your CPU and your graphics card in the future on this next generation is going to be drawing around 800 to 900 watts combined on a full load, that's a lot of power, not including anything else. So just to give you an idea, 1300 watt power supplies are probably not going to be in stock this upcoming next, I don't know, at least 1000 to probably 1600 watt power supplies are going to probably skyrocket in price. So if you haven't already, grab one while they're cheap right now. 4 Series, insanely power hungry, good choice. Yep, we already read that one, and to be continued. Thanks for the music. I hope you guys are actually hearing those, because I haven't streamed in like, I don't know, 6 months, and I was in the middle of adjusting all that. And I didn't check that before I started the stream, so I hope those are playing. Can't hear them on my end right now. Okay. Move this guy out of the way. So we're going to start out with this motherboard. Get this bad boy opened up, and we're going to get the CPU. I mean, the packaging on these things, especially when you start getting into the 500 plus boards, are just insane. So you have this really cool looking packaging just for the motherboard that we're gonna throw away. Not the motherboard, the packaging. Yeah, we hear them. Awesome. So here's the actual motherboard. The Ace. It's got a beautiful black with a hint of gold on it, with a gold dragon. It's just very beautiful. So wherever you see the shiny, I guess because my light is really reflecting on it right now, it's the gold. So it's a beautiful board. We'll just set that down there, and then I'm going to pull the rest of this out from underneath the bottom of the motherboard box. Switch positions here. I need all this. Beautifully packaged, I'd say. But we have our Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antennas, as well as all the additional wiring cables that come with the board, which, again, if you go into the much larger boards here, you'll get additional cables and adapters like this mini display port to display. These are nice, and they include those because they have mini display ports here on the back of the motherboard. which is kind of cool. But we won't be using those since we have the graphics card. I mean, he could use them if you wanted, because it is a K processor. It does have built-in onboard graphics if you wanted more screens, for example. And then obviously all your manual stickers and whatnot. What I'm looking for are M.2 screws and things like that. Should be right here. These little guys. Alright. Let's chuck that out of the way. Try to center this up the best I can. We're going to start with the CPU. Hope everybody's day is going well. Again, I apologize for not streaming very much. We had a lot of personal things happen in the last couple months. Some unexpected. So we haven't. So I really haven't had time to really take time out of the day and stream and build. So I thought this was going to be a great way to kick off a build stream. Try to get in that rhythm again. I mean, can't really get much better other than the AMD series that just launched. Then your Intel i9 and your 3090 Ti. Until NVIDIA launches their new cards, which is going to be very soon here. But even then, the 3090 Ti is an extreme card. Extreme card. Just a quick side note on these. I did just put the CPU here into the socket. Keep these little black things if you are building your own PC. Keep this, because if you ever have to send your motherboard back, you need this, or they will not accept it. This covers up the pins on the motherboard to keep them from getting damaged. Don't throw it away, keep it. Just recently upgraded to a 3080 Ti. It's insane. Yeah. 3080 Ti is insane too. 3090 really just has the extra VRAM and some faster clocks at that point. But if you're just gaming, the 3080 Ti is more than enough. Unless you're trying to do like 8K gaming or something crazy like that. And at that point, then you're forking out the money either way. So the RAM, we're going to go with the 2 sticks here, which are 32 gigs each, a total of 64 gigabytes. And that is our Trident Z5 RGB. And this is by G.Skill. 5600 megahertz is what it's supposed to be rated at. We'll see if we can actually get it there with the DDR5 play going on. This board has lots of M.2 options. Now that we have the RAM installed, we'll move on to the SSD, which is an M.2 SSD, Samsung 980 Pro, 2 terabytes, Gen 4. But I was just saying, this motherboard has a lot of M.2 options, so I think outside of the one that we're going to be using, which is here at the top, there is, I believe, 2 or 3 more options here on this board. There may have been one on the back. There is not. I think it's the Asus boards that I like to put them on the back. Little sneaky ones. I totally just destroyed this box. So these come packaged very nicely. I'm just going to set that there and grab some of these manuals out of the packaging. we'll package all of these manuals up for X, Area X, in a nice, neat little fashion. So he has all of that information in a nice package without having to keep all these boxes and whatnots. So there's 2 screws on this heat spreader. And this lifts off. And then cool thing is, motherboards, I'm starting to see this, is, here, let me lift it up and show you closer to the camera. You'll start seeing thermal pads on the bottom now of your M.2 slots, as well as the top of the heat spreader. So you have thermal pads that's going to be dissipating heat from both sides of the M.2 slot, or SSD at this point, which is nice. Especially as these SSDs keep getting bigger and faster, dissipating that heat is really nice and important. Another thing I've been noticing on newer boards is the new mechanism for locking the M.2, which is this little swivel part here. But you really don't need a screw anymore. You just push it down and then turn it, and it locks it in place. And then you just mount the heat spreader at that point and you're done. Just mount it the right way. Sorry if my head gets in the way here. I just can't see the hole. So I also found out that Streamlabs is also allowing you to stream to TikTok, so I might give that a go next time. I'm not a partner with anybody, so I have the ability to stream literally at all platforms, or to all platforms all at once without any limitations outside of my music that I'm playing in the background, which I stopped using my previous sound provider because I kept getting slapped for music licensing issues. I ended up just continued using that Twitch stuff for now until I figure out what to do with that. So if anybody has any advice there, I'd appreciate it. There we go, we got our SSD installed, our CPU installed, and our RAM installed onto the motherboard, which is awesome. And I just peeled off all the plastics, which I don't know if I'm regretting that yet or not, because I feel like I'm going to touch some of this and have to wipe it up later, which is okay. Or I can put gloves on to help minimize that. Usually I build with gloves anyway. I'm gonna just do that real quick. At least while I'm handling the motherboard. So next step, we're gonna get the mounting kit, which I actually just thought of this. I hope I have, I hope it comes with the 1700 mounting kit. I know some of them do not. Didn't think of that. And if it doesn't, then I most likely have it. So that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I do music and stuff. Yeah. No, I'm talking about, like, Facebook does weird, and so does Twitch, actually, but probably Facebook's the worst out of the two. So I paid for a, I'm just drawing a blank on the name of the software right now, or the website that I was using. But I paid for music that's supposed to give me the license, and you literally type in your Facebook handle, your Twitter handle, all of the everything, so that it knows where it's going based off of what you're paying for. and then it's supposed to keep that from getting tagged or slapped or whatever you want to call it. But it didn't do that. You'll be producing with this PC. Yes, I know, man. Trying to get you up and running so you can make some cool beats, which I think you still need to drop your, if you want to, drop your YouTube or your SoundCloud or whatever you're using. Feel free to drop it in here. I think I'm allowing it. Oh no, it's fine. I'm just dealing with it right now. Not the end of the world. Just not going to pay for something that's supposed to work that doesn't work. So that's why I just completely stopped paying for that stuff. Removed my subscription. And I wasn't streaming for like 2 months anyway, so. Been so busy. So that's cool. This is the first time I've seen Corsair actually give you these. So they probably heard my complaints. Hey Billy, thanks for the like, man. Adam, Mern, I got swords, followed. I appreciate the likes, guys. And the follows. Set this radiator. Set this radiator down out of the way. Happy Zoo Pride. Oh gosh. So YouTube has some interesting characters over there. Probably a bot of some sort. I really don't have any limitation on my chat, so I apologize. I've got a little bit, but eh. Haven't really been a problem, or hasn't yet. Hey Billy, what's up, man? Area X, we'll have to talk about the music. We'll talk about it. It's just background music, honestly, so I don't really want to like invest a ton of money or time into it yet. Oh, damn it. So Corsair doesn't have anything covering this except for the plastic itself. So when you pull it out, like other coolers I've worked with, at least recently, have plastic covering that. Thermal paste. That's just pre-applied thermal paste. Now it's on my glove. I don't want to touch something with it. Don't want to get thermal paste everywhere. Oh, there it is. It just fell off. Never mind. Alright, so LGA is the socket we're looking for. 1700. LGA 1700. Hasn't been a problem yet. I haven't run into a cooler without the right 1700 yet. And that was a big complaint online, though I haven't found that problem yet. So here's our 1700. And here's our bracket for the back. So we gotta mount this bracket to the back of the motherboard into these holes and then put those studs on. The reason why I like to do this now, before I put it in the motherboard, is so I have a little bit more room here to work with. Try to do as much as I can outside of the motherboard before I put the motherboard in the case. I'm just struggling to get this guy lined up here. we go. So that's the bracket that I just put on here. Sorry if you couldn't really see it. I don't have my side camera right now, which is what I was fighting for, or fighting with earlier today before I started stream. Oh, that's your music that you posted there. Awesome. So yeah, if you guys want to go check out AreaX's music that he's currently playing or producing, check out his stuff. Playing. You can tell I'm getting tired. So depending on how quickly I get this one done, I may have another one to do. It's a very simple build. So probably like a 30-minute build. No joke. But it's a build. So I just screwed these studs into the bracket that we mounted to the back, which is going to hold it in place now for us as we move the motherboard around and get the motherboard mounted into the case. The rest of these are for AMD or Intel 1200, LGA 1200. We won't be using those. And the rest of this is AMD mounting brackets and whatnots, which again we won't be using at this time. So there it is. Go ahead and get this case popped open and on the table, and we'll get this motherboard in there. I think the majority of our time, honestly, going to be cable management and fans. Whew. Don't think I really mentioned the case we're building in. Love that board. Awesome. Glad you're happy with it. But we are building in the Lian Li O11 Evo. O11 Dynamic Evo. It's a beautiful case. Supports lots of fans. And has several different modes you can change if you needed to for your build outs. We're going with a standard O11 build out, I guess you can call it. I'm going to remove the glass here so we can get in and out of this case very easily, and that's what I'm undoing right now. Just remember, if you're building in the Evo, you got the two screws at the top, one here and one here that holds the glass on. That's for shipping. You don't necessarily need to put it back on. but I would recommend to if you don't want your glass to accidentally pop out if you move your PC a lot. So I always just put the screws back in, holds the glass in, ensures that it's not going to pop out on anybody. And then I'm going to take this panel off, which is a solid state drive mount or cable hider, whichever you want to call it. And then we could flip this thing over and put this board in. We are going to stick out a little bit with this board, which is fine. Let me try to center this up for all of you. One thing I keep forgetting on these bigger boards and newer boards, you're going to see that this wonderful heat spreader that is for this top M.2 SSD is covering your holes. Not in a good way either. So you see it's covering a mounting hole here, which was unfortunate because I didn't catch that earlier and keep that SSD heat spreader off. Oh yeah, and then I need the screws out of the hard drive bay. Or no, they're not in the hard drive bay anymore. So this big box comes with your case. This has all of your hardware in it for the case. One big box of screws. Beautiful board, indeed. I don't know why I'm struggling with opening things tonight. And also, I just wanted to note, I have been building, just not on stream. It's been just a crazy couple of months. Honestly, wasn't in the mood for streaming, just with everything that was going on. Just trying to locate the correct bag of screws here. Which is this guy. We'll open that up, pour them out here on the side. And we'll start screwing this board in. So there should be a total of 9 screws that we're going to screw into the case here, which is mounting the board or holding the board in place. It's also very important when you guys, if anybody else is building and taking notes for a build, when you are dealing with these studs, to make sure your studs are all lined up properly for the holes that are on the motherboard. Because if you have a stud behind the motherboard and it's touching the back of the motherboard where it shouldn't be, it could be causing a ground issue, which means it could be causing your computer to turn off or not power on or all sorts of stuff. So keep a lookout on that when you're building, or just something to look out for, I guess. We're expecting this build to be about 3.5 hours, maybe more, especially with all those Corsair cables. And we're a good, probably 25-30 minutes into it. Now that I've got that screw in place, I'm going to put this heat spreader back on the SSD. And there we are. Motherboard mounted. Beautiful, huh? All right, let's get the cables plugged in here. I think that is going to be a good call. And then we're going to try to get, before we put any of the fans or radiators in, as much of the cables ran to the motherboard as possible. So any RGB cables, USB cables, front panel connectors, fan headers, all that. I just want to do that before we get the fans in there, because it gets a little difficult. Gets to be a little difficult to get your hands and fingers in there with those fans installed. Sorry, sleeping kid was walking by. That one goes there. So what I'm doing is routing the front panel USB 3, USB-C, front panel audio, and also the power buttons that need to be ran. I'm just running them through the holes that they need to go to in order to connect to the motherboard in the right spot. Thought there was an ARGB header down here. Oh, there it is. Just didn't see it. This case does have an addressable RGB strip here in the front, which we're going to sync with the MSI software. The Mystic Light MSI software. So again, this is a lot easier to do right now, instead of having 3 fans sitting here rubbing up against my fingers trying to fight it. So if you're building in this case, good call to do as much of the cabling before you put your fans in. This is your USB-C connection that I just plugged in there. And then this is going to be a USB 3.0 front panel connection. And then this last one is your HD audio front panel connector. Which it looks like we may have gotten a bent pin. Not by me. There we go. Easy fix. There we are. We got at least all of our case connections done. Now we got to deal with the fans, the fan connections. So I'm going to get these USB hubs going, so that those are at least ran, or the cable is ran for it. So again, I don't have to deal with it later. These are kind of a pain to open up. I got to it. It's just a hub, USB cable, and it takes a SATA power connector to power it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That packaging is probably the most annoying packaging I've had to deal with in a while. But it comes with a hub, you get a little SATA power connector, with a little SATA extension cable if you want it. Normally I can just run those, but I'll just put them on for show and tell. And then you have your motherboard, which is purple, and the rest of them covered up by these nice little fancy black rubber plastic-ish things. But purple goes to the motherboard, black goes to your device, so you're plugging in USB 2.0. And then this is your USB cable that comes with the kit. One end goes on the motherboard, the other one goes to the hub. So I'll just run it from here to the back. From the USB 2.0 port right there. And then we got another one that I'm going to run, because I believe we have more than 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so a total of 6 possible USB requirements from the build. USB 2.0. Oh, and the nice thing about these, they're more expensive, yes, but watch. They're magnetic, which is nice. One of the main reasons why I buy them other than a cheaper one. That, and I've never had a problem with these things. Quality from NZXT right there. Some of their products are good. Their cases, however, meh. They're like ovens, in my opinion. Except for some of their new mesh series, those are not bad. Okay, so we got those cables. Next, we want to deal with the CPU side of things. Meaning the CPU cooler. We got a CPU fan. I don't remember if these are using that header or if I'm just going to go through the software. These are definitely using that header somewhere, some way, shape, or form. We got our, looks like a Commander Pro. So this is our Corsair hub, as our fan header and our RGB headers for the Corsair fans. There's a total of 6 here, which is nice because we are going to plug in 6 fans for the CPU. We got 3 top, 3 bottom of the radiator, sandwiched with a push-pull. So USB, no fan header. I don't like that. The reason why I don't like that is because I hate iCUE running the fans for the CPU, because it creates a CPU fan error. If your BIOS was ever read, it's not a big deal, but It's just a pet peeve of mine. How do I want to do that? Could go with a PWM fan hub. Just gotta locate one. So, wish there was a CPU fan option too here. I've only got the CPU fan, the pump, and then a case fan here. Usually you'll have 3 up here. Another weird note on these newer boards, you see how these cables or these connections are here? Normally they're over here. That is cool. Wonder if I could go this way or that way. I'll have to plug these in before we put this cooler on. That is for damn sure. Anyway, CPU fan 1. I really don't like the look of that at all. Please hold. Sorting out a solution here. Still looking for this cup that I want to use. I know I have one. It's just buried in a million things here. No, we have one. Ah. What's it? I believe in you. Thanks. So what I'm going to do is run this to the back. This is all because I don't want Corsair to run the fans. Simply, but I want Corsair to run the CPU fans. I don't care about the case fans. I'll just point that at the CPU temp. But if we don't have a fan on that fan header, which we could just plug one in, but I'd rather have it all on one. Then the motherboard's going to be a little bit of a going through a little bit of a freak out session. Anytime the BIOS is, I guess, restored or updated, or less pain if we do it this way. Will be built more right better. So there we go. We got our 6 connections here. for 6 fans on the radiator. Next, I want to try and get my CPU connections here. These connections right here are what power the CPU directly. So, and there's going to be a big fat radiator right here covering this whole top area. So we're not going to be able to get to those very easy. I'm going to do it now before we put the radiator in. Save some time and headaches. Now I gotta open up the power supply and get the cables out. Hope this power supply actually fits in this. Thanks. Didn't fit the way. With the Nuvo, it should fit. It's pretty large. Should fit. Didn't think of that. It'll be fine. And these are all our cables that we're looking for the power supply. And we're specifically looking for ones that are labeled CPU. I think they're in here. Definitely your 24 pins in that one. VGA, 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 VGA. Where's my CPUs? Okay, they're in here somewhere. There's one. And 2. So we're just gonna plug these in and run them to the back. That'll be covered up by a large radiator, so you'll barely even notice those are there, if at all. Okay, I'm pretty sure that is it. Now we just start putting the fans in, the graphics card, the power supply, and we call it a day. Hey Thomas, what's up, man? Sorry, I was looking away from the screen. If it fits, it ships. I use that all the time on the stream, so it's funny how you just said that. Did I say that earlier? I said it earlier. I must have. How have you been? Pretty busy, man. I've been doing builds, just not been able to stream them. I've been busy. This is my first stream I've done in a while, like 2 months. Just been super busy, doing a complete revamp on the back end of the website right now, on top of all this other stuff that's going on outside of work and stuff. So complete rebuild of the entire website. So if you see there's not a lot of products on the website right now, that's why we're going through a complete back end rebuild. I will eventually have a computer product or a product on my page that allows you to select all your parts for your build right on the website, and it gives you the instant estimate, builds it all, and then we just order all the parts, build it, and it's all done. I'll even have an option for if you want a build stream. Cool, huh? You did not say it earlier. Say it all the time. Nice. Nice. I didn't say it earlier, so that means... I wonder we get along. I think the same. I actually say it all the time on my streams. If it fits, it ships. because 9 times out of 10 I'm shipping the computer too. So just kind of funny how that worked out. All right, I'm gonna move this out of the way, and we're gonna pull this radiator over here, and cables on the right side, cables on this side. So the fans that are going here are going to be facing the inside, and we're going to use the QL series for the inside fans. The fans that are in the inside. These fans that came with the radiator, we're going to place them on the outside of the radiator because you really can't see them in the case anyway, but we're going to use them, and we'll have push-pull on the radiator, which is nice. It'll help with delivering more airflow without as much noise. And then the reason why we went with the QL is because the rest of the case has QL or is going to have QL fans. We wanted a single look for the entire case, or build out. So QL fans it is. These guys. I don't know if it focused on it well enough or not. But we have a total of 10 QL 120 RGBs that are going in this build, plus the 3 extra fans from the radiator. So that's 13 fans total. Break down some of these boxes that are starting to stack up over here on me. There is one, and we want, again, the cables pointing this way. That will matter here in a little bit. I'll show you. And when you are building your PCs, always make sure your fans are pointing the right way. For example, the airflow is going to be sucked in on this side and pushed out on that side. So the airflow is passing through the fan like this. A lot of fan manufacturers will actually have an arrow pointing the direction of the airflow. Like, for example, this one has one right here. I don't know if you can quite see it. Right there. So it is pointing the airflow for you, or the direction of the airflow. But if you build with enough PCs, you kind of just know already. So you'll know with the experience. Anyway, just something to look out for if you're building PCs. Keep an eye on the direction of your airflow, because if you put the fans in backwards, it may not work well. You know what I wish they would start doing for the price of these fans is give you screws for mounting to a radiator. That would be cool. Because now I gotta go get my own. Hold on. I always forget about that too. Thankfully, I always have a whole bunch of extra radiator screws. From the radiators that didn't make it. Just kidding, it's usually that one just doesn't bite the threads very well. We'll use a Leon Lee. Okay. Now that we got it started, we could just start lining these up. Thomas, how have you been, man? Yeah, the other new thing that I'm experiencing right now is that comes with old age, especially when you drive in a car, because we drove to Kansas and back all in 1 week, which for us here in Michigan, that's like 14 hours to get to Kansas, where we went in Kansas anyway, and back. So quite a long drive. Anyway, with your old age, you'll start experiencing things like pinched nerves. What kind of fans? These are Corsair QLs. I got swords. These are QLs by Corsair. I love Lian Li fans way more than Corsair, but this is the look that we were going for. That's just my personal preference. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these Corsair fans. They're actually really nice. My personal preference, honestly, is Deep Cool. I love Deep Cool fans. They're just inexpensive. Well, they're still expensive, but not as expensive. And I feel like they just move a lot more air. Especially the new FC series that they put on their new radiators, their LS radiators. Or AIOs, rather. Why would I have this? Anyway, got the 3 QLs here installed. Now we're going to... Oh. One that I missed? No. Just one I accidentally brought over and left here. Now we're going to get the actual bracket for mounting. Put the fans here, put the bracket on, screw the fans in. I have to get that off the case here. And Lian Li really makes mounting these things super easy. So here's the bracket. And we want the hoses facing the front. So this should go on like so. Again, make sure your fans are facing the right way. And your cables as well. And then we just need more of those screws that Corsair provided. I do too. The ability to daisy chain them is amazing. Yes, the daisy chaining is what I love probably the most out of the FC series, because you could just daisy chain the crap out of them and it's just super easy. Way less wires in the case. Like, for example, I have 2 cables here on the Corsair for each fan, and I have 6 fans here. So that is 2 times 6, 12 cables that I got to deal with. Which is just a little ridiculous. Lian Li has a nice daisy chain option as well. Even cleaner than Deep Cool. But I really hope some of the newer Corsair stuff that's coming out here soon is daisy chained. I actually haven't heard for sure or not. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. Got me talking. I actually need the bracket between the fans while I'm putting these screws in. Oops. That was my fault. Trying to get somewhere here. I promise. I actually might have to put in the washers for these. I think that will do better. Oh yeah. Mucha lava. But yeah, the daisy chain option is so much cleaner than the 1,000,001 wires that you got to deal with the Corsair or others. But it's a learning curve. Like, making that simple is super important, especially for like beginners that are getting into PC building. Simplifying that entire process is super important. I don't know how many times I've had people call me for help locally that are building their own computer because they can't figure out how to get the RGB to work or how to get certain things plugged in. That could be super simple, and it's just like as if it was made intentionally complicated. Don't get it sometimes. There we go. I'm on the last fan. The reason why it's hanging off here is because I got it kind of hanging off the or off the camera here, because I kind of have it hanging off the side of the table here that I'm building on, and I just didn't want the hoses getting bundled up, so I got them hanging off the side of the table. So I'm sorry you can't quite see the last one that I'm doing here, but I promise it's nothing too interesting outside of doing 4 more screws. Alright, last screw for the radiator. Job security, I guess. Yeah, I suppose. Not a fan of job security in that method. And there we have it. We have now our very own radiator and fan sandwich. Hey! 6 fans on a radiator. There you go. Go ahead and get that case back over here. And this is where the side view really helps, that I can't get working right now until I get more USB cables. Because top-down view is going to be kind of like meh. Wish I had the side view working. But number one, we need to get some of these cables freed up because we got to send them through the slot back where we're going to be putting this. So we got to undo a bunch of twist ties here. Another thing that always bothers me, twist ties. The delay's killing my jokes. I'm sorry, man. I don't know why there's such a big delay. I don't have a delay set on the stream, honestly. Respect. Thank you, Agent Smith. Hey, Area X, I actually didn't tell you this, but I'm actually a drummer. I don't really talk much about my music past anymore, but I do drum. If you ever wanted to jam, I don't know if you play any instruments. We never really got to talking about that. The drums are actually in my garage, collecting dust, stacked up in one corner. So, interesting fact. I think I meant to tell you that when you were here and I got sidetracked. We were just talking about a bazillion things. You play all instruments. You have 2 drum sets. Nice. What drums do you got? Mine's just a cheap set that I started with and then kind of upgraded slowly. So it's a mixture of everything. Right now anyway. Like the snares. I don't even remember what the snare is. I'd have to go look. It's been so long. Oh my gosh. This turned into an ugly mess real quick. What kind of drum set? Ludwig or Pearl? Mine, I think, was a cheaper Pearl when I originally bought it. And like I said, I just upgraded everything. I upgraded heads, I upgraded specific toms. The snare isn't the original one. The bass is actually still the original, believe it or not. So that's still the same. But it was a really cheap starter set that I started with. So I didn't have a lot of money when I was buying it. And then I just slowly upgraded. All the cymbals were replaced in that set. So I've got all new cymbals. Can't remember the name of it right now. They all start with a Z. The Z something. Zalman. I keep thinking Zalman from the PC world, but I know that's not right. And then my hi-hats are old, really old Roods from my dad's set. They're really nice, actually. And they survived a fire. A house fire, so got some stories behind them. Which is always cool for an instrument. Trying to get these cables in here without pinching them. But they're putting up a pretty big fight here. Alright. So let me get these 2 screws down. I'll flip it over and then you can see the madness. Where do those 2 screws go? Crap. Whoopsie daisy. I just set them down. I literally just set them down. They vanished. Cool. Now, I can use these 2 and replace them. I'll find them. Anyway. Yep. Zildjian, that's it. Zildjian. I don't even know how to pronounce that right. I don't really pronounce things, I just play drums. And build computers. Oh, there we go. So there is our cooler for the CPU. This massive block up here. Just absolutely massive. I like pasting myself. Nice. No, they weren't export. So Area X, you got Pearl. Nice. Yeah, this is a 360 millimeter radiator. It's an AIO. It's the whatchamacallit? The H150i Elite. So it's got the screen on it by Corsair. Yeah, it's thick because we got push-pull. So we got 6 fans on the radiator. Super thick. Looks badass too. Right? Alright, so we're going to pull this off. We got to clean that thermal paste off because that's pre-applied stuff that we're not going to use. It's probably okay, but we're going to use Thermal Grizzly. Gosh, I just want to set this down without it getting everywhere. That's all I want to do. Let me go grab a paper towel real quick. I'm just wiping the thermal paste off here. Shouldn't need any alcohol. It's coming off pretty well. New AMD 7000 build? No, this is a Intel i9 12900K. So this is not an AMD build, it's an Intel build, but it is an Intel 12th gen, which is one of their newest lineups. AMD, God damn it. Excuse my French. AMD is actually a very slow launch right now. I've been seeing them stay in stock like crazy, which is kind of surprising. Very surprising, actually. Because past AMD launches were just big nightmares, and they're gone. Stock drops, and they're gone. Stock drops, and they're gone. Stock drops, and they're gone. Just, it was impossible to keep a CPU in stock for more than a day. Yeah, until the 13th gen comes out, yes. And just a side note, the AMD 7000 series, though they're super, super expensive, they are pretty quick, so, especially for multitaskers. Now, before I put this sucker on, I'm going to peel this stuff off because it's always a pain in the ass to deal with it after the fact, after you put it on there. And what you don't see is the plastic that's wrapped around every bit of this thing. It's really hard to get to with gloves on as well. I think I'm going to have to take a glove off for it. But I applied my thermal paste there. My thermal paste is applied and ready to go. We just gotta get this plastic off, which I wouldn't think would be that difficult. I'm glad I'm dealing with it now. I feel like this should be easier. Am I just crazy here or what? Really don't see an easy way to start the peel other than picking at it. Or do I just leave it? Now it looks like complete ass. There's one layer. Guess what, guys? There's a second layer. Twist ties and plastic peels. Like with your Pro Tools. Nice. Until the 13th gen, AMD 7000, you crushed the 12th gen and a lot of stuff. Yeah, I know. I did see that, but it is expensive. So to get into, for example, an AMD Ryzen 7000 series, if you want to go like Ryzen 7, for example, you're going to spend close to $1,000 between the RAM, the motherboard, and the CPU, which is, in my opinion, a little bit too expensive right out of the gate. Big problem is the motherboard price and the RAM price. That is your big kick in the you know what's. Doesn't help. So I believe this faces down the cables or the. There we go. Beautiful. We got the plastic. We're golden. Plastic is removed. Battle of the plastic is over. The battle for mounting pump is about to begin. Reference that before I drop everything. Just like the last gen though, 5000 series were close, or costly too. Yeah, they were costly out of the gate, but they weren't as expensive to upgrade to because you already had, in most cases, the AM4 motherboard. Now you actually have to buy a motherboard with it, so the upgrade just went up by $300 for a decent motherboard. You could probably go with a cheap board and then upgrade later, sure, but if you're going to put a motherboard in your system, you're going to want to put a nice motherboard in the system because you don't want to have to deal with the motherboard until the new platform. Really. Realistically, anyway. And then the other problem is they're charging people so much money for this DDR5 like RAM, but half of it doesn't even run at the right speeds with the XMP profiles. It can't even run at the advertised speeds. So let's say you go out and buy a set of 6000 megahertz. Won't work. Won't work right anyway. God damn it. Wow, I'm just struggling with trying to get that last little nut in there. Guess I'll just do it by hand. Anyway, yeah, the DDR5 has been a mess. Yeah, that's the new platform, so it makes sense. B-series motherboards are coming out next month. Yeah, I know. It's supposed to be much cheaper, but if you remember when the X570 came out and then the B550 later came out, the B550s went just the only place you can find them at MSRP was if they were in stock at Best Buy and at Micro Center. That was it. And that was close to MSRP. That wasn't even right. But after that, it was, B550s were just as expensive as X570s, unless you wanted like the super cheap one, which gave you little to no upgrade option. But yes, you're right. The B5 or the B650s, should we call it, right? That's going to get confusing with Intel. Just saying. I can already see it. Anyway, the B650s that are supposed to be coming out. Hopefully they're not called B650s because it's going to confuse a lot of people. Which I don't know why they wouldn't call it that. Oh yeah, I know the market made it happen. I know that. Man, I really don't like how these twisted like that. It's interesting, but okay. Alright, so we've got our CPU mounted. I'm just going to double check the torque on these because I was talking and wasn't paying attention. Alright, so we've got our radiator mounted. We've got our pump mounted on our CPU, or block, or whatever you want to call it. The AO is finished. Now we just got 2 sets of fans here, and a rear fan, and a graphics card, a power supply. And then we gotta flip it over and put Humpty Dumpty together. DDR5 has come down, though. Oh yeah, definitely. Yes. So this set that we got, I think it was like in the $300 or $360 range for 64 gigs. It was like $379.99 at Micro Center. Actually, is where I ended up grabbing it, which was a good price because previously it was like a $500 set, which was when it first came. Or no, the price tag on. You know what? I might even still have the box. I'm gonna show you. I still have the box. I had to go find it. Just to show you from Micro Center. That was the price when Micro Center put it on their shelf first. That's $899.99 for 64 gigs. So yes, you're right. The prices have come down. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. Like, who the hell's gonna spend that kind of money on RAM? $1,000. I wouldn't recommend it anyway. If anybody came to me and they're like, yeah, I want that, I would probably try to talk them out of it. Unless they, they're millionaires and they just don't care. We gotta sneak these cables to the back somehow. Oh boy. This is our little pump thing. I'm gonna try to run it around this way. There and back again. That needs to be on the pump header, which now won't go on the pump header for some reason. There we go. And then these guys need to get ran to the back. This one goes into the controller. This one goes to the USB header. For some reason, I guess for the RGB. I don't know. I don't know why it would be separate. I feel like that should go into... That doesn't make any sense. To have the hub go back here to go back to USB. Or it must be for the screen separately then. Not part of the hub. So that I'm going to flip to get these through the back side. Argue with it. Come on. Just pulled the rubber grommet out. Nice. Trying to fight this thing. There we go. Not bad. Got rid of those cables. Ran to the back. Server, yikes. Server memory costs yeah, I know they do. That's a different story, though. That is purpose. Outside of just having the biggest, baddest system around. There's my little rubber, got like pulled out. Oops. Sorry about seeing the back of my head. Let me know if I'm going bald yet or gray. Oh. Right now. You know what? I'll just deal with that in a minute. I'll deal with it later. Okay. So next let's just mount this fan, then we'll get these three. We're gonna mount the rear fan. Another Corsair QL. So this one, I'm actually going to flip backwards, because I found that sucking in fresh air from the backside and it getting sucked right through the radiator helps with CPU temps. And that's what I'm going to do. Stay. Good fan. Having problems with my screwdriver here. The magnetic portion of it is no longer magnetic, or at least with these Corsair screws. My glove. No, actually, I took it off to take the plastic off the CPU block because I couldn't get it with the gloves. I just haven't put a glove back on. So no rip, not yet. But I'm sure we'll have a rip here soon. And for those of you who are not familiar from past streams, I tend to rip my gloves all the time. How expensive is fixing data points, LAN points? Apparently when renovated, the contractor screwed those up, and hold on, I gotta shut this light off so I can read. Straighten my eyes. Apparently when renovated, the contractor screwed those up, and so we have 90 of 90 or 90/90 instead of 800 and 900 out of our 1 gigabit. Oh, fiber plan. So the technician suggested that either swap our Wi-Fi 5 mesh to Wi-Fi 6, then more meshes for faster speeds, or fix the data points, and Wi-Fi 5 mesh should hit similar speeds with unlocking the data point. So I think what he's talking about, or what That honestly sounds like a cabling problem. Is that what happened? Like they put Cat 5 in instead of Cat 6? Or am I wrong? Or did they just put the wrong access points in general? And that is at Stallion M. Not sure. Sounds like cable issue. Need to check out. So yeah, if they put Cat 5 in, that was a very silly mistake because pretty much the standard today now is Cat 6. They shouldn't be using Cat 5. But to put... yeah, if you're trying to run Wi-Fi 6 mesh access points, but it looks like they have Wi-Fi 5 mesh. What are your access points? Do you know the models? Because I work with Dado, Meraki, Peplink, all of those. Let me check. Okay. So that'll kind of tell me a little bit more as well. There we go. We got that fan installed. So now we're going to do the 3 here and 3 in the bottom. Voila. Or voila. Voila. You laughing at me? My wife's laughing at me. Earlier they insisted that I was losing my mind and probably would have been easily mistaken for escaping a nut house. I'm just being a dad. AirTies. Model AirTies 4930. I'm actually not familiar with that one. Let me go look it up real quick. I got a question for you, but I'll DM you. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can figure out this problem for him real quick. I'm gonna look this AP up. So I've never worked with that one before. What country are you in? Are you in the US? Singapore. Okay, that's why I've never heard of the brand before. It's probably a popular brand out there. I'm opening them up right now, or at least the website for it, just to see the tech specs of it. Yeah, they're nice units. Decent. The ports on them should have up to 2 gigabytes on the Ethernet, so 2 gigabit. How many do you I guess that goes into more questions that I'm not about to honestly dig into. But overall, yeah, it sounds like a cabling problem off the bat. Just to give you a direction, I'd say take your laptop, unplug one of the access points, take a laptop, plug that into that port, do a speed test and see what you get on that cable. And that'll tell you if it's the cable or not. And if it is, then it's most likely because they used Cat 5 instead of Cat 6. Just can't handle the new speeds. Or the power draw, for that matter. Personal, I'd rather to fix the data cable, just worried. Yeah, I mean, whoever put it in should be fixing it for you. At least that's what would happen over here. Most people. Unless you specifically told me it has to be Cat 5, I'm putting Cat 6 in. And if that's not a standard out there, shame on them. But you could test it anyway, at least by, like I said, plug your laptop in and see what you get when you unplug one of those APs. And yeah, running cable, low voltage is not cheap. Not here in the States anyway. Like a couple $100 an hour here for hiring an actual service. Fiber is the norm here. We renovated like 3 years ago. We had fiber for almost 8 years. Well, yeah, Cat 6 was probably becoming the standard about 3 or 4 years ago. So it wasn't officially probably the cable to run right off the bat. Oh yeah, I forgot this has the this one also has the bracket. Okay. Old Mac Mini before you shifted and built your PC. Yeah, I hear you. Everybody had a Mac. Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for the follow. Hopefully they didn't echo from my speakers to my mic back over to you. Yeah, but I would say, yeah, the Wi-Fi 6 for sure. Or the Cat 6 versus the Cat 5 cable. I mean, you could test it too. There's ways to test it without having to go through and do all the work right off the bat. I guess if you need help with it, shoot me a message. So I'm currently just getting the fans mounted to this bracket here. They're not mounted yet. I just have them sitting here. But I'm going to flip this bad boy over and screw these in. Just kind of out of space on the table right now where I'm working. So you don't get to see a lot of this. It's kind of boring stuff anyway, so chat me up. Agent Smith, if you have a question, feel free to ask. Ask away. Oh, by the way, have you tried BLCKOC on non-K12 Gen? I heard those are beasts for gaming versus Ryzen 5000 minus 3DS or the 3XD. So no, I haven't actually. Have not tried that. But I will say the AMD 7000 series is now running circles around the Intel 12th gen, and then when the Intel 13th gen comes out, that'll probably be running circles around AMD's, and then AMD's going to release an 8000 or 9000 series. I guess that's numbers they're going with. Which is going to run circles around the 13th gen, and then the 14th gen is going to come out. It'll probably be a crapshoot. Then AMD will take a break, kind of like what they did before. And then Intel 15th gen will come out. And then AMD will be like, oh, we gotta catch up. It's been the game, man. But yeah, no, I know. I DM'd on Facebook. Okay. Cool, I'll check it out here. If you want to talk about it off stream, we could do that. Twelfth gen IPC is faster versus Zen 3, and when you OC 12100 or 12400F to 5 gigahertz 5.2. Yes. Minus the X3D. Yes, that is correct. You get better clock speeds in some use case scenarios. That is better versus the multitasking benefits that you get from an AMD CPU. But yes, the clock speeds, especially for like Microsoft Flight Simulator, that's a perfect example. That thing likes clock speeds. So, like an i9 running at like 5.5, even higher. Beautiful. Stable, of course. There we go. Bracket with fans. Beautiful. And these are all going to be intake at the bottom. I know I said I'm going to do the side, but I ended up doing the bottom. Oops. Let's pick this up. Oh. Starting to get heavy. Probably 13th gen will beat Zen 4. AMD will release 3D cache version to take gaming crown again. Yep. Always catch up between the two. I know, it's just constant back and forth and back. And there's never anybody that just takes the official lead and then keeps it, so to speak. It's always just a back and forth game. I wonder if they do that on purpose. Just wonder. I feel like they do. Come on, you get in there. Stop arguing with me and get in there. Be buttoning up some of these cables after the fact as well. Righto, there's our. Sorry about the sudden vibrations. There's our bottom set of fans. We're going to do the side fans, and then we are on to the GPU and power supply. Then we're going to, like I said before, flip this thing over and put Humpty Dumpty together again. Collusion? How could they? Wouldn't surprise me, honestly. They are competitors. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm an AMD fanboy, but it's not like I hate Intel. Intel has its uses, AMD has its uses. In the end, they both have their uses. I've just always been an AMD guy. I don't know. AMD with NVIDIA graphics cards, of course. Nah, Intel was streamlining or steamrolling through. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So Intel totally owned the all the way up until Ryzen. Literally. That is a very true statement. Ripped glove. So yes, Intel destroyed AMD for years. Very true statement. Oh. I'm gonna lay this bad boy down like so. Then I'm gonna put the fans here, push the cables through here. You can see the cable mesh back here. Ain't bad. Just a whole bunch of cables, you know. Oh, that'll work. I do this, so I actually don't have to remove that tray, even though the tray is removable. Just don't need to do it. You know what? I'm gonna actually start with this bottom fan, and I'm actually doing it backwards like an idiot. Glad I stopped myself. And I'm gonna do this bottom fan. That way I know they're all lined up at the right height, because I want the bottom fan is going to be seen more than the top fan. I want this to be as low as I can get it. How low can it go? Nine. Those seem probably Zen 2, probably Zen 1 wasn't a game changer. I kind of disagree. Zen 1 came out. What was that? Intel 8th gen? Right? Or was that 9th gen? I think that was 8th gen. And those Ryzen CPUs, even the Zen 1s, were pretty powerful, and I feel like they were running circles around the mid-grades. So the Ryzen 7s and the i7s were pretty comparable. I'll agree with that there. But the i5 versus the Ryzen 5, or the Ryzen 3 versus the i3, that's where AMD and Ryzen's chips kind of took over right out of the gate. For gaming, anyway, I always had better performance off the AMDs during that era. And if you look at, the performance difference right now, just kind of something to think about. Oyster Zen 1 was horrible performance-wise. I mean, so was Intel 8th gen, but at the same time. I don't know, whenever I was building, I think it was like the RX 570 at the time was like the card, the entry-level card to buy. And the AMD, I think it was like a 1600X, Ryzen 5 1600X or something like that. Those were really hot, and they did really well. Nobody wanted the Intel either. That was weird, too. Oh, yeah. Now with heavier workloads, Intel actually has a decent value proposition, yes. But anyway, I was going back to a point before I read that comment. If you think about it, the Intel i7 of your 7th gen, or 6th gen, 6 or 7, was only 4 cores. And if you actually look at the CPU itself, you can compare it to an Intel i3 10100. And the 10100 would actually beat that i7. Mind-blowing. Yes, 7th gen 7th gen at the time was okay. As long as you got an i7. I guess that's the way I'm going to put it. The i5s and i3s were just bleh. i7 was the only way to go for that generation, in my opinion. Because the Ryzen CPUs just kind of beat the i5. Probably more so my opinion than anything. It's not fact. Probably not. I don't know, I ran the 1600X with like the 570, or what was it, 470 at the time. And I'm talking AMD card. And that thing would just kick ass. And I'm comparing that to other Intel NVIDIA builds that I did. I was constantly getting like 20 FPS more on AMD. With BIOS updates. That was actually a selling point way back then, too. And AMD, I think, was still cheaper. Because they were trying to get their fan base back. Alright, there you go. Some assembly required. Sorry, X. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'll let you plug all this in. Ugh. Just kidding. Ugh. Alright, so we're going to flip this back over now that we got all our fans in. We can get our 24-pin strimmer put into place here. And our graphics card along with our 8-pin strimmers. I'm sorry, 3 8-pin strimmers. Triple 8-pin, that's the name. Times 3 1. Oh yeah, well AMD did go through a learning curve. Like I said, the Intel i7s, 6700K or your 7000 or i7 7700K, those were the CPUs to buy. Anything below that, like the i5s or the i3s, were just trash, in my opinion. And I'm talking about like your, because I build not only for like high-end stuff, but I build for people that come with me with a budget of like $600 and they want a gaming PC. And I'm trying to build it also with a upgrade path. So I'm not only building the high-end stuff, I'm building the low-end stuff, and every little bit of performance at that point, when you're building at that level, matters. LOL, yeah, no. Are you sure? I feel like you'd want to do this. I feel like you would have fun putting this and plugging all this in. I gotta turn this thing around. I always forget about that. Wait, do I? No, I don't need to. I'm crazy. Am I crazy? I'm crazy. Yeah, it's fine. I'm crazy. I just put it in wrong. Wrong. Let's line that up more though. Lack of threads on the i5 hurt it. Yeah, I don't know when did i5 start. i5 started having hyper threading. Gosh, second one or the first? It was either the second or the first. No, it was fourth. I think it was fourth, maybe. That would have been like a 4400 or 4500. Don't put lights in wrong way. Yeah, I won't do that. Don't worry. Well, this one behind me, I actually put the same thing that I was just doing here. I put it in, except for I can't remember what I did exactly, but I somehow got it in backwards. And then I didn't notice until I fired it up, and I was looking at it like, huh. Had to go back and fix it. No problem. Took like 5 minutes. Pain, but it took like 5 minutes. 9th gen? I don't know. I thought it was like earlier than that, honestly. I thought it was like the 4th gen. I don't remember. Because hyper-threading's been around for a long time. Long time. It was hyper-threading was here back when Pentium 4 was around. I think that was the first official like hyper-threading big ordeal. Pentium 4. Remember that? Now that is some old school stuff. Can you guys believe that a Intel i3, not i3, sorry, wrong one, totally wrong. That's how long it's been. I can't even talk about it right. The Intel Pentium 3, which was a total of 340 megahertz, depending on which one you had. It's a slot CPU. And what I mean by a slot CPU, it didn't have a socket. It actually went into a slot, like your stick of RAM does. Now that CPU, I actually had running Call of Duty 1 with a GeForce 256. Think about that. That was a long time ago too. But hyperthreading, I think, came out with Pentium 4 originally. Yeah. Oh, basically they locked. I don't remember. Sorry. I remember weird old stuff like that, but I can't remember when hyperthreading actually went into the i5s. I'd have to look it up on Google. Alright, boys. Probably the moment everybody's kind of waiting for. Let's see what this looks like. That's right! It's a 3090 Ti! I'm gonna move this off the computer before I break something. Something expensive. 10th gen it did. 10th gen. How do you even open this box? I feel like I should just open it magically. The amount of money that you paid for it. Oh, it does. It actually just opens magically. Just like an Asus box would. Hey, you even got a mouse pad. Look at that. I forgot these come with mouse pads. These comes with mouse pads. Sorry. Before I open this up, I got glove issues. Nice. I have an EVGA and 390 Ti. Nice. So that's actually one that I was looking for, but it wasn't in stock on their website. Wasn't in stock anywhere. Everywhere it was in stock, they wanted like $2,000 for it, and I was like, no. So that was one I was looking for. We ended up going with the Supreme X, which is a badass card, by the way. It doesn't help that I can't feel my fingers. Things you don't think of until you're in the moment. Gloves. No fingerprints on the cards. Alright, so we've got, oh god, no. Forgot about that. Honestly, damn it. We'll figure it out. Got our GPU stick. Do you see that with the 4000 series? I know that, I don't know if you're following the launch yet or not, but who was it? Gamers Nexus. If you follow them at all, they're talking about one of the companies is calling this support bracket a video card stick. So you get a stick with your card. You go out in the woods and you find a stick. And that's what you use to support your expensive card. A stick. It's just a title that they gave it that he was making fun of. And there she is. One beast of a card, which, by the way, matches the radiator if you look closely. The radiator thickness and the card thickness are symmetrical. Yes. Yes, sir. And I think it was, if you look further into it, I believe it was like power or like a green thing that they were doing to make the CPUs more green. Oh my gosh. Holy crap, this thing's heavy. Supreme. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, some of the 4090s that I'm looking at right now, they're, you know, taking up 3 slots. I mean, I think this one is, but this one looks like it's taking up 3 slots too. But they're like 3.5 inches or bigger. It's like, holy smokes. How does one harness the power? Very soon those will be out. And very quickly they will be double the price. If you think you're going to land one, I'd say find a pre-order option, pre-order it. Yeah, you're not building it in an SSF case. I wouldn't even bother, dude. Just make sure there's no plastic on the fans here. There are Those things like to fall off and then get stuck in the blade and then make weird ticking noises. And I'm pretty sure Mr. X would not appreciate that. No ticking noises. I think that's all of it. Okay. Sorry, you're gonna look at my head again. Let me know if I have gray hair. Come on. What are we fighting here? Never had so much difficulty putting a card in before. Something's not lining up perfectly or something. Could be just dropping right into the slot here. There we go. One of the little bracket tongues was not letting me get it in. Nobody say anything. Okay, I'm done with my thing now. I can watch. Hey, what's up? Welcome back. I got swords. I've been here the whole time, just been busy. Oh, no worries, man. We're just putting the centerpiece in. Surprise MSI 1 is only 150 more than our MSRP, 9% more than low tier ones. Yep. You have gray hair, thanks. It's because of my kids. That's where the gray hair comes from. Rose Play says hi. Haha, enjoy the hair. Oh wait, that's my kid. That's one of my kiddos. Anyway, thoughts on the Intel Arc? I think they had to rush it. Yeah, they had to rush it. So they planned on releasing the Intel Arc when during that graphics card just mess where there weren't any graphics cards and everything was super expensive. That's when they needed to launch it. If they would have launched then, they would have been a more success, not because they were good cards, because they're not the greatest cards. They're good for DirectX 12, but anything else outside of that, nope. They're trash outside of DirectX 12. So they got a lot of work to be done before they can become a standard or run with the big two. And then soon we'll be calling them the big three for the GPUs anyway. But I think they had to rush it in 4 to 6 months when mid-range cards and ADA or RDNA comes out. Intel is going to be hurting? Yes. I still think it needs a price cut. Oh, totally. Yes, I agree with you. Let's not kid ourselves. The 4090s are going to be close to 2K when they launch. Oh no, Nvidia said they're going to be around $1,000, dude. Yeah, they're going to be around $2,000. Is that a 12900K? Yes. Z690, MSI Z690 MEG Ace. This is the Ace from MSI. Rose says, teehee, LOL, I feel that I got two. They're slightly faster than the 3060, I think, if I heard right. Wait, what are faster than the 3060? What's faster than the 3060? I got swords. I didn't see that. Great motherboard. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful motherboard. So guys, one thing to account for, especially with the newer GPUs coming out, you'll probably see these more and more. This is your 12 pin that comes with the card. 12 pins to your times 3 8 pins. One thing I really didn't take account for, buying the streamers. I thought these were 3 pin on this card. I was wrong. Very wrong. So, that will kind of look dumb. I'm probably just going to run the black cables on this and then refund you for the streamers because it's just not gonna look right. I think there's an adapter we can buy for this, but in this case with this card height, the glass is literally right here, and I don't think that'll work. So, no streamers on the GPU. Sorry, I'm gonna pull these just because, and then I'll refund you. But just because they're it's not going to work with this card. The other card, it would have worked just fine, because I think the Gaming X Trio has 3 8 pins right on the card. Oops. Just doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure I checked and double checked, but maybe not. Oh well. Next gen NVIDIAs will have those power requirements as well. Oh yes, we were kind of talking about the power requirements earlier. That's why we went with a 1300 watt EVGA Platinum, 80 plus Platinum in this one, so that it is prepared for the future as well. So if he wants to take this card out and put another card in, he is going to be more than likely, no problem at all, be able to do that for a 4090 or something. And then let's say, assuming Intel keeps its theme where you don't have to upgrade your motherboard for the next release, 13th gen. 13th gen will work on the LGA 1700 690 boards, assuming, if they're going that route, because that's what they've been trying to do, and that's their history. Like first gen, 12th gen is like the, here's what we made, and here we learned all our mistakes, and then here's the replacement chip that solves all those. That's kind of what it is. 13th, like 9th and 10th, or I'm sorry, 8th and 9th, 10th and 11th, 12th and then 13th. Exactly. See? I almost didn't even need to confirm that. I kind of knew it was going to be. I'm geeking out right now. Okay. I'm geeking out right now too. But anyway, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. What? Oh yeah. So, you could put a 13th gen CPU in here if you wanted to, and that 1300 watt power supply is going to help him. No matter what he puts in here, he's got power for it. So, that was my point. Derp derp derp. Actually having people to talk tech with. Oh. That's why I'm here, I think. Until I do something like this, where I'm like, oh, let's put streamers on this card. No, originally this was not the card that we were going to build with. We were going to build with the MSI Gaming X Trio, not the Supreme. So originally, that was the card that we were going to use. That's why we ended up with the streamers. And then when that card was no longer available to be shipped, I had to go for this card. Or we decided to go with this card instead. Because everything else was like 150, 200 shy of this. At the time, anyway. So, if you're looking for a 3090 Ti, just know stock is depleting quickly. Very quickly. Alright, I gotta flip this in such a way that I can reach it. I wish I had my side camera working for you, because you could follow me as I move these things around and switch the scenes for you, but I'm gonna need more USB cables over here to make that work. And I don't have them here. So, you're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm just running the PCIe cables. PCIe cables. It's okay, whatever. Has to happen. Yeah, it's just a little bit less RGB than we anticipated, that's all. So, I just don't think it makes sense to have this little tail with the RGB hanging. It's gonna look funny. I don't want to do that. And the streamers are purely for aesthetics. RGB. That's all they're for. Come on. Come on out. Get in there. You know what? Fine. Go that way. Trying to make this look as nice as possible. Okay. I plan to get an ARC card after the 4060 7600 XT launches. Then maybe get it for cheap after drivers. After the drivers are better. Okay. Yeah, maybe. AIBs are trying to get rid of it for 400. Oh yeah, but they're no longer making them, number one, so the inventory out there is just the inventory that's left, and that's it. So everything's shifted over to the 4000 series now for sure. You never know how long it'll take for drivers get fixed. Could be, oh yeah, it could be, well, I mean, just an example, the DDR5 nightmare, debacle, plague, whatever you want to call it, that we're dealing with right now on these new Z690 and AMD M5 platforms. XMP profiles won't run their rated speeds. You know, I'm extremely frustrated with them being companies that sell the RAM at that rated speed, and motherboard manufacturers that say it supports those rated speeds, although they have an additional list showing the exact supported RAM, etc. But I'm still kind of disappointed in them for selling that stuff, making people think it's going to work right out of the box. So that's not the experience, ever. Oh man. up saying drink me all over it. Get one soon, yes. I recommend it. 3090s I've been still finding in stock, but their prices are creeping up. So, for example, it wasn't like a week and a half ago I could find a 3090 for like $1,000 or less, even. Some of the lower end models you could find for 900 or even 800. Open boxes. So, if you're going for a 3090, get it soon. Prices are climbing. It's not up and down, it's going up right now, and that is the direction it is going to stay for a while. So I kind of predicted a slower launch for the 4000 series, but after all the hype's been built up now, and the performances of the 3090s have been released, and just the performance jump, because I kind of anticipated or expected this NVIDIA launch to be less of a performance jump, more like the 10 series and the 20 series. It was a very small, it was still a performance jump, but smaller. And then when the 3000 series came out versus the 2000 series, was a significant jump. So I was kind of anticipating this to be more like the 10 to 2000 jump. So I kind of thought this launch would be slow, but must be wrong. I think that hype is building up. Derp. Just want to make sure this thing's on. There's fine. Okay, power supply time, huh? Well, cables / power supply. Oh yeah, yeah. Now it is. It wasn't like that before, though. They were going super slow. And then once AMD caught up, they're like, "Oh, we gotta push the pedal down a little bit and get some more performance jumps here." Really knocked their teeth out. So y'all know where all this stuff goes, right? I'm just trying to sort through all this and try to make it as simple as possible. There's a lot of cables back here. That's what I was hung up on. I was trying to push this sucker through. Got hung up on the USB-C cable. So, what might have to end up happening is we might have to pull this cage out and sacrifice this cage for some cable space, because there are an awful lot of cables back here. spending some time untangling this stuff. If not, get a 3080 Ti. Yes, I'd agree with that. But I want Steam Cyberpunk, and I need a beefy PC to do that. I mean, what screen resolution are you trying to run Cyberpunk at? I guess that's the question. I don't determine what card you actually need. Although I just like NVIDIA pricing, you gotta give credit. Yeah, we already talked about that. RNDA 3 looks like a beast too. They are cramming in a lot more rendering cores, yes. I hate cable management. That's why I left it to him. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love cable management so much. If tech power up is right, it's about 2.4 times the cores. Wow. CMUS RT cores, 2 times the ROPS, and 4 times the L3 cache for the 6900 XT versus 7900 XT. Wow. Alright, time for me to hit the bed. Alright, man. I got swords. Thanks for tuning in for a little bit. 1440p. Hope you have a great rest of the stream. Thanks. 1440p for the... yeah, then you'd probably want to go... Well, you could do it with a 3070 Ti and up. 1440. Actually, not a troll pick for Cyberpunk. Oh, the 1440p A770 AKW. I know I gotta be up at 4 LOL. Wow, man, that is early. I'm sorry. I hate Area X. I know you're waiting for... I'll try to power through this, but if you need to jump off, the stream is recorded. So you can always go back and watch the rest of it if you need to later. Because you have to get up early. I also have to be up early too, but this is normal for me. I don't like it, but I do it all the time. So, I'll try to power through this, okay? Alright, I'm gonna focus. Number ones, we should probably put some power supplies in. Because it's so big. This is probably a good idea. Nah, I do it all the time. I'm vibing? Okay. I'm just saying, if you needed it. I'm not holding you hostage. Gotta watch the stream, man. We do have a couple of SATA options, so I'm just getting these cables plugged into the actual, if it fits, it ships. Getting these cables plugged into the back of the power supply, because we are going to put this power supply in first before I do any of the other cables, because this area of the build, the power supply length right now, it's gonna be tight. So I just want to make sure these are good to go. It'll be tight. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, damn it. Didn't pick that one through. Hold on. I'll move these right here. Okay. Then we need the CPU. Jen, we need your GPU. There we go. Fan is facing up because there's going to be a vent on the panel that this next to. Oh boy. Here's a tight fit, boys. Tight. And when I say tight, I mean tight fit. AV1 for streaming, A770 handles Cyberpunk well at 1440p. Could be a good buy. But I enjoy building PCs a lot. I haven't been able to build one in a very long time, so I'm itching, LOL. I itch all the time. And then I get my fix all the time. And then I build so many sometimes to the point where I'm like, I don't really want to build another one. But I have to. That happens as well. Come on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure unfortunately, this tray is going to have to come out. We're just quickly running out of space here. Very quickly. So yeah, this tray's gotta come up. I think we'll do that. Get everything plugged in, fire it up. And also gotta mount the actual power supply still. You'll be taking that hard drive tray back. Don't put the LED Leon Lee 24 pin on backwards again. Got it. I only do that every once in a while. But it's not backwards this time. I already made sure. If it fits, it ships. It ships. That's what she said. Anyone gone from SATA SSD to Gen 4 NVMe 6000 speeds? How was everyday usage improvements? Okay, so going to Gen 4, you'll notice probably the biggest impact is going to be moving data, honestly. So if you're like a video editor, working with large 8K videos and stuff like that, 8K screen resolution, 1440p, or 4K even, they're going to be large files. If you need to move those, that's where you're going to notice the actual performance boost. And also probably rendering maybe, like the time it takes to, let's say you're doing video editing or photo editing and you're finalizing a project, and it's going through the rendering and writing to the drive. That's where you're gonna see the boost. Outside of that, you know, games maybe load in just a little bit quicker. That's about it. Or games start up quicker. Maybe Windows boots a little faster. But at the same time, DDR5 kind of ruins that because it takes 2.5 minutes to post when you're trying to run 6,000 megahertz on your RAM. So, Lord giveth and taketh away. Until I get everything right, anyway. Wait, what were these for? Oh, yeah. I remember. So I am actually gonna take this guy down and around like that. Around the power supply. Like that. After I run these bad boys down, over, and under. Like, I could have been a little cleaner here and put this hub down here maybe to save the drive, and then put this hub up here and this one up here. But it's I don't like it. It's packed, boys. I can't do much here. Where am I? Peace. Ah! I thought you were going to bed. It's too interesting here. We enjoy talking with one another. And he likes to make fun of me about putting my Leon Lee streamers in backwards because I did it. I've done it once, and it will probably happen again. And I will accept that. The good thing is I catch it and I fix it. I don't just shrug my shoulders and say, maybe next time. I'm just putting the screws in here to hold the power supply in place now that we have it where we want it, and we don't have to move it again because we have all our cables kind of ran here. I might zip tie a couple things here and there, but overall that's pretty much all I'm going to be able to do right there. So I'm going to slide this down, and we're going to focus on this area here, which is going to be a majority of those Corsair hubs and USB hubs. We're actually only going to use 2 now that we don't have a strimmer, well, strimmer as well, but 24 pin. I only have a 144 MP, so actually the 6700 XT is overkill. Yes. Technically. Technically that is a little overkill right now. That 6700 XT is actually a really good card. It's like almost the performance of a 3070. Definitely beating the 3060 and the 3060 Ti. Not counting ray tracing. minefield. The minefield is ready. Tempted to sell my 6700 XT system and build around a mined 6600 XT. I bought my 6700 XT at $400 and mined 6600 XT with 2 years warranty is only $185. I only have 144 hertz 1080p, so actually 670. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't read that first paragraph first, but yes. Yeah, the 6600 XT is actually a really good 1080p card. It's kind of like taking place of that RX 580 era, where the answer for like 3 or 4 years for a budget PC was the RX 580 or 570, because they were like $100 or less. That was when, you know, mining crashed in like 2018, 19. I don't know. But that's the 6600 XT now. I need my USB hubs.
Why don't you want to talk to me? It's lady.
I think the music stopped. Got really quiet.
I think you need to close the door. Give me a sign.
Please hold.
It's the refresh. It's doing a hunt or something. It killed me.
Let me know if that gets too loud. It sure did. Yes, it did. Oh, that was regarding the music question. Sorry, I just get like totally lost in my train of thought as I'm building. So I'm thinking of all the little teeny tiny things that I'm doing. Okay, I'm actually going to bed now. Right on, man. Well, thanks for stopping in and hanging out for a bit. Come again next stream. don't know exactly when that'll be, but oh yeah, I gotta before you leave, really quick. There's quite a few different things that I'll be doing. Number one, website is going through a complete revamp. If you want to check that out, eventually here in the next, I don't know, the back end of it's mostly getting worked on. The front end side, like the face, it's getting a little bit of a facelift, not much, but anyway. Outside of that, I'm also looking for sponsors for the Empower Gaming Very Merry Christmas, which is something that we do every year. We put together a complete system, monitor, keyboard, mouse, computer, gaming computer, the mouse pad, headset, everything. It's a complete system setup. And then we donate it to a family that needs something fancy under the tree that wasn't going to be able to afford something like that. So, and I'm trying to grow the Empower Gaming Very Merry Christmas to the point where I'm doing several systems. And we do it through a couple different ways. We can do it through charity platforms, or if you know somebody or somebody knows somebody that really needs something and they truly can't, you know, they're not in a position where they could do something like that, then I'm more than happy to throw it make their year. That's awesome. Yeah. So I am looking for sponsors though. I'm actually looking, I was talking to Mern, our partner here, our streamer that we partnered with, about some ideas. So he's gonna give me some or pass some possible contacts around and see what we can put together. But if you know anybody that would be willing to donate really anything to that, let me know. Or if you know a company that would like to be sponsored or be a sponsor, that'd be cool. Just haven't been able to put that out there yet on social media. And while I had everybody here, I was like, good time to announce it. But anyway, go to bed. That's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool that something that we've done for 2 years now, and we've done it out of my pocket, and now I'm just trying to grow it at this point because I'd like to try to impact more lives with gaming PCs. You know, parents that can't really afford them for the kids that want to get into it. And I want to be able to give them that opportunity to play on a PC. It's way better than playing on a console. Way better. I don't know. Just one way I can help. I'll ask Mern to get me the info, and if I can help and send some money in to help, that would be a definite try. Oh no, I appreciate it. I'm not asking everybody to throw in, $500 or something. It's literally if anybody throws $5 at it, that's what counts. So I might start a pool or something that everybody can donate to. That might help at least get some traction on it. That is probably what I'll end up doing. Streamer, content creator. Who knows? Maybe we donate the system to the next Stone Mountain, and that starts his career. And all he needed was a little help to get started. That would be cool. Where's my last fan? I'm missing a fan. Hello? There you are. Gotcha.
It's so
We're gonna have to zip tie the crap out of that, because that is one big giant mess. I'm missing one. Not one of those. This guy. This is the time I usually get like really quiet because I'm just over the build at this point. I'm just sticking around with cables. And it gets boring, but we're almost there. We're literally right on the cusp. Except for the fact that it needs a couple things need to be plugged in here. I can flip it over and fire this bad boy up.
Well, you have to. Give me a sign. Music box on.
Yeah, getting the more people we can on board with the very Merry Christmas for Empower Gaming Computers means the more we can deliver, and 100% of anything that is donated goes towards delivery of a Merry Christmas for somebody, or multiple people, depending on how much we get donations for. Again, that's something that I have done out of my pocket for the last couple of years. I'm looking to expand it to empower more people during the holiday season. That is something cool we do. Not everybody knows we do it, because the last couple times we've done it, we've had to give it to, or we gave it to a family that didn't want public, made in public. So, and it was because they were involved in an event that was very tragic. So, we were respecting their privacy. Get over here. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Sorry, I just laughed. Note to self when you're building with the Corsairs fans, you grab a fan hub. Luckily, the last one I did, which is the one behind me here, had an Asus hub with the board. did not. I gotta take these gloves off and keep ripping. So, we gotta figure that out. I think I got a couple more hubs. Actual hubs here. So, that. More hubs. I'm glad I pulled that hard drive tray out. So that would have been way more than I needed here. Go right now. I'm going to what the hell? 1, 2, 3. Gotta find that hub. Note to self, buy a hub. It'll make your life 1,000 times easier. Against the other option, plug in that other hub thing. So I don't want to do that. Whatever, we'll do that for now. And I will deal with that later. I'm just going to plug it into the block that came with the AIO that we didn't use. But in the future, if you guys are ever building with Corsair, definitely buy yourself a hub for your fans, because Corsair is too cheap, even though they're pretty much the most expensive fan out there, to give you a fan hub. That is a review for you, Corsair. How dare you give people things to plug in, but nothing to plug in with. Unless it's with another one of your products. Kinda doesn't make sense to do that. But okay. Again, this is not how it's going to end up. I am just doing this for the mercy of getting this fired up for the stream. But it will not stay like that. You can see why I moved that hard drive tray out, right? There was just no way that was going to work. Get these pulled out just a little bit. All right, boys. Center her up for you. Plug it in, cut the lights. The whole lights camera action thing. Hey, I forgot the 1300 watt has its own special power supply. And I don't have one of those plugged in right now. Hold on. It's got its own special cable. That's all. Hey there, big boy. Oh, I thought that was going to be a problem. I totally pissed it off. And we're posting. You got no RGB here, but it did light up, so I know it's plugged in. So this is a software thing. Corsair, of course. See, it lights up, and then it goes. I think we're going through a, what do you call it, test, memory test. It's just posted. Or was posting. I always forget how long DDR5 takes. Yeah, there we go. Now we're in the BIOS. But we're probably not going to be able to resolve the RGB on here until we are actually booted into Windows and have IQ running. I don't know why it's not lit up right now. It doesn't really make sense. It should be. Honestly. The top fans don't have RGB right now either. What do y'all think? I'll fix that. I'll get it rotated. I'm pretty sure you could rotate it in the software. I wanted these here because I didn't want them there. I wanted these to be at the bottom. Has anybody else built with this recently? I just can't remember if you could rotate it or not in the software. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. X's build. Area X Studios, this is your build, sir. Again, RGB software problem. We'll deal with it when we get into Windows. This will rotate, I believe, by the software when I get into Windows. But yeah, all that I have left to do is Windows drivers, BIOS update, RAM, because you got to spend 25 minutes dealing with that now and with DDR5 sometimes. And then, yeah, just benchmarking after that, and we're good to go. So, today is Wednesday. I'd say Thursday or by Friday. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Alright, man. I'm done for the night. I'll leave this up and running for you guys to ooh and ah if you want to. Wanted to say thank you for everybody who tuned in and chilled with us while we built this for Area X Studios. Thank you. And thank you, Area X Studios, for purchasing the build so we can all build it together. But yeah, it's looking like Friday is going to be the pickup day for you. But thank you everybody again for stopping in and hanging out. Y'all have a good night. Next stream, I'll try to update you guys on social media. And then I'll update you guys on the Very Merry Christmas as well on social media. So just keep track of that or pop into the next stream and ask about it. Alright, thanks everybody. Have a good night.